first did.
That's what I love about these high school girls, man. I get older, they stay the same age.
Honey!
What?
Where's my super suit?
Frank Sheeran. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, you said it right.
Now, the one that will have been out for a few months at the time of, by the time this video gets released, it's the one that I would say more so than anything else is determining who has taste and who doesn't. That is Martin Scorsese's new epic, The Irishman.
Correct. Management can only fire a driver on very specific charges. So, you ever show up late?
No.
Do you have any moving violations?
No.
This is famously, of course, one of my most anticipated movies of the year. I mean, come on, Scorsese, De Niro, Pacino, and Pesci, all together for a 3.5 hour long epic film. There was no way in hell this was never not going to be one of my favorites of the year. And now here's the thing. I knew what the criticisms were going to be going in, and I should have called it because, yes, this film is long, and it is deliberate. But I feel like once you get past that, in terms of actually getting what this film is trying to say, in terms of its deconstructionist elements towards Scorsese's filmography in general, and that includes certain actors and certain character choices that he has.
Should meet my cousin, Russell Buffalino.
How are you?
Hi, nice to meet you.
It was like the army. You followed orders. You did the right thing. You got rewarded.
Overall, just giving such an extensively long history and managing to cram that in, you know, the episodic nature of it, how the mob was tied in with all of these different events going throughout history, Hoffa, everything that goes on there. It's all so well done, but ultimately at the end of the day, this is a film about what it means to be old and just the idea of, this is probably one of the first films that I've ever seen that really captures onto this idea that I'm becoming more and more self-aware of, that just at the end of the day, everyone falls victim to the inevitable bitch that is time. And when you see De Niro at the end, all alone, old, just waiting to die in that old folks' home, it really does, I feel like, drive the point of this overall, the overall point of this film home.
Charge a guy with a gun. With a knife, you run away. So you charge with a gun, with a knife, you run.
It's a sad film, it's a long film, it's a depressing film, but it's one that I feel like you could definitely get a lot out of if you sit down and actually like really pay attention to it. Just the overall friendship and camaraderie that is formed between these three guys overall and their different interactions, particularly with De Niro and his relationship individually with Pesci and Pacino as Hoffa. It's so well done. It's massively done. Again, you got three masters of their craft, all being directed by, in my opinion, still the greatest living filmmaker, still living, you know, today from a previous era. And yeah, I've been waiting for this film since I heard it was announced 2 years ago, and I'm absolutely glad that I saw it. The only complaints that I say I would have, the de-aging for me didn't work. What's it called? Because the whole thing is that, again, I went into this whole diatribe on this in my podcast, but the overall thing is that when you de-age somebody, right, yes, Christian Harloff has talked about this, you can't de-age movement, but it's more so than that. It's the fact of, it's different when you have to de-age Downey Jr. from 50 to 20, because he hasn't really changed that much body type-wise and voice-wise, but when you have to de-age almost 80-year-old De Niro down to, like, early 40s, like mid-30s De Niro, you're talking like 70s era, like Taxi Driver De Niro, that shows, because it's like we already have this idea of what De Niro looked like in our heads from that era, and we know that he looks vastly different. So at best, you get like an early 2000s looking De Niro with a really crazy like video game face, like video game looking face, like the uncanny valley is really apparent. And the other big problem I would say is Anna Paquin and everything that goes on with her. I feel like her relationship with her dad is not well established at all, at least in terms of what the film is trying to say is the relationship that she's supposed to have with these three primary actors, and I feel like those are the two elements for me that really don't hold up. But in terms of everything else that this film is going for, absolute masterclass. Like, just the fact of Netflix finally was the key to allowing Scorsese. Netflix honestly was the best thing that could have ever happened in this movie. And yeah, even though it kind of goes against Scorsese's whole points about cinema, guess what? If it's the means that we had to go through in order to get this director with these three guys in the same movie for the first time ever, and probably the only time we're ever going to see that, I'll take it.
It's gonna happen.
Either way, he's going.